they can learn all about Slack.
Yeah, and then we can just throw a link to the video inside the Slack channel, and then everyone can go see it if they feel like they need a refresh. So, all right, awesome. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. If you don't know me, I'm Terry. I'm the assistant director for archaeology here at Montpelier, but I think I recognize all of you. So we're going to talk today about Slack. I am super nerdy excited that you all wanted to use this tool. It is something I've been trying to get the department to adopt for a while, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, yes. I mean, I wasn't happy about the pandemic, but I was happy about, you know, I can really force everyone to use this thing that I think we should be using. So we've been using Slack for the archaeology department as an internal communications tool for almost a couple years now. I think we used it last year pre-pandemic, mostly to communicate with the field, for the field crew to communicate with each other, and a little bit with the lab. And then we've been using it as it's our virtual office space for us. It's our water cooler. It's our, it's, you know, those like casual communications that you don't have anymore because you're not in an office with each other. We use it for that. We do our daily check-in every morning on Slack, pass information, all kinds of stuff. You can do private messaging within it. You can do group messaging within it. There's all different types of applications with Slack. Has anyone ever used Slack before? Okay, awesome. So some of you know what I'm, have a little bit of experience or a lot of experience with it. And did anyone have any trouble getting into it? Like, are you all logged in at least, or you all have downloaded and have passwords and usernames and all of that? Awesome. Patricia, is that a yes or a no?
Yeah, I had trouble downloading it. I couldn't get it to download. So Matt pointed out you can log in from a browser, and that worked instantly.
And you're good. Okay, so
that's
everyone's
a good
in.
alternative.
That's
I'm using an iPad, and I just downloaded the app from the Apple Store onto the iPad and logged into it.
Yep, and it works.
And it's great because, you know, it's just another app. Whenever I want to look in there, I just go there, and there I am.
Exactly. Yeah, it works great on mobile. You know, this is like the #1 virtual office space software in the world at the moment. So it is pretty popular, and for good reason. All right, so I'm going to do most of this sharing screens. You all can follow along at home, and we're just going to kind of dive through. What I want to do is first show you all. Actually, let me do this differently so that I'm actually looking at my camera. Okay, can you all see Slack? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Slack has kind of 3 main components. There's you, right? There's your profile, who you are. There are channels, and there are direct messages. Those are really the 3 main things. There's another piece, which is apps, which we don't really have to worry too much about for our uses for what we're going to be working on. So a number of you have already used, have explored some of the channels, but channels are really kind of topic-based chat rooms, basically, just to, so everyone is automatically put in the general channel. This is really just kind of the open forum for saying hello, casual conversation, stuff like that. And then what we've done is we've made some specific channels that we've created. The general channel is on every Slack channel. Every Slack workspace that exists has that. And then we've made some additional channels. And these are all over here in the sidebar. You can minimize it. You can hide it, do whatever you want. So, and you can also add channels. So everyone is not part of every channel. You can either add a channel by creating a new one, or you can search for other channels. And I'm actually going to have you all right now go ahead and browse channels. And so this should pop up and it should show you all the different channels that are part of this workspace. The whole thing is called the workspace, the Montpelier Volunteers workspace. And you all should make sure that you're part of the general one, of Keep It Positive, Relabel, and I'd like you all to join the Make It Public one. The digitized channel is for another project that some of you are working on, and some of you are not yet. So, but if you just click on Make It Public, then you should all of a sudden see Make It Public. You get added there, and you can see once you're inside a channel, right? You can see that there's a lot of different options. You can see what's happened on this specific day, right? Matt made and joined Make It Public. He edited the channel description. I was added, also Carissa and Tony, and as more of you keep joining, we'll start getting updates of the additional people who've joined. So again, if you go to add channels and browse and hover over Keep It Positive, you either can, you should be able to go ahead and join it. Is that showing up for you all?
Yes.
Awesome. When you're in a channel, there are not, and this kind of works for direct messaging as well. You can see a number of different things over on the right or on the top. Faces are all on the right. Okay. There's this channel details button for info, and you can click that and you can see there's a number of different options in here. You can read about the channel. So what is the description? So this channel, as Matt has written, are for things that you find while you're doing your relabeling or the digitizing work that are really, really cool and you think other people need to see. Whether that's the rest of the staff needs to see it, the rest of the people doing the digitizing need to see it, or the public needs to see it. That's really what we're interested in, is like, is this something that we should be sharing on social media? Is this a unit photo that's really, really cool? Something that's really fantastic and interesting. And then a quick description of why, right? And we'll get more into that a bit later. But you can also then see who's a member here who has joined. I have the capacity to also add people if I want to. Not going to worry about shortcuts. Pinned is items that have been pinned. So if something's been posted, you can, and that's, I can't give an example here, but you can go in and admins can go in and pin that. So it'll make sure that that post is here all the time, no matter how far up the scrolling goes. And then files can also be dragged in and added as well. So, so if there's a spreadsheet or a PDF or something like that that we want a how-to or a FAQ or things like that that we want you all to be able to access all the time, they'll show up in here. I'm going to go to the Relabel channel to show you a bit. So here's an example of a post that's been pinned. So Matt's pinned something that is a question that he gets all the time. So that shows up here. Another important tool that I think you all will really want to use is the Find tool. You can always search all of Slack up here at search the whole workspace. But if you're looking for a specific question, you can do a search. I search for Strata. That obviously shows up a lot, right? And these are all the posts that have that word in it. You can then filter that down and be like, I just want to see the ones that are shared by Matt, things like that, right? Or you can filter it by date, all these different options and choices to filter things down a little bit. So you can type messaging, actually sending a message into the chat, right? You can simply type something there. You have all, you can do all the things. You can add links. You can do bullets, numbers. You can type code if you're really feeling fancy. Make everything bold if you want to. Right, all those things you can do. You can mention someone specific by typing the @ key, and that'll start bringing up all the people who you could be mentioning. Right, so you can do things like that. You can add emojis, right, and you can also attach files if you want to. And you can also do this stuff, file attachments, pictures, things like that. You can just drag them onto your message box and it will be attached, right? And then you hit the send message button and off it goes.
Terry,
Yeah.
where did you key in, or where did you click on for the search?
For the search,
Yeah.
so there's 2 spots up here at the top.
Okay.
You can just click that bar. That's going to make you search all of the whole workspace,
Okay.
every channel, all the DMs, all of that, or the ones that you have access to.
Or the finds there. Okay. got it.
If you're in the channel details button for the relabel and you click find, then it tells you that you're searching within that specific channel.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You can then, so now I can hover, you can see you can kind of hover over all of these different messages that are in here. You can do a number of different things. You can respond to something with a little emoji like yay or whatever. There are a couple that are in there all the time, like a task button thing. You can also search for any of these emojis. These are just fun, a fun way of sort of acknowledging that, like, I've seen this message, or great job, or what happens in our channel a lot is someone may mention something and someone will respond with a emoji that is, if someone mentions that they had a great hamburger, someone may respond with an emoji that's a cow or something like that, right? Just to be kind of fun and humorous. You can save that message if you want, which puts it up here into your saved items. So this may be really useful if there is a piece of information that Matt has posted that you're going to have to go back to over and over and over again, and you don't want to have to keep searching for it. You could save that piece of information for later. And then you can also reply in line, right? So you can create a thread, right? And so what that does is it keeps that reply sort of within this conversation. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And as other people add another topic, so this is really an important thing, right? So if Matt types, has this piece about answers to these questions that Beth asked, right? And you have a specific question about this comment, about this thing, you'll want to put that in line so it stays attached to that section.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, how do you put that in line? Just by clicking on the note that Matt put in?
You hover over the note and then you click this reply and thread guide right here. And then the thread pops up over here in the sidebar.
Thank you.
And then again, you have four threaded comments. So we'll go back down to this one where you can hover over and say, oh, I want to see the whole thread, and it pops up. And again, you have all of those actions again. You can save, emoji away. You can pin it, or I can pin it. I don't think you all have that possibility. You can say, remind me about this later, right? Like, I don't want to deal with this right now, but I don't want to forget about it. So someone come, Slack come yell at me tomorrow when I'm going to be sitting down to actually be doing my relabeling, right? Stuff like that.
Is the thread the one with the guy with the plus on his head?
Is the thread the one with the guy?
Which is the thread again?
So the
Just point to
thread
it.
is when there's a comment and you see this little business underneath that says one reply, view thread, and then that brings it up over here into the sidebar.
I
Right.
think,
I think it might be a little different on the mobile app.
yeah, how do you,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
What was that, Tony?
I'm just wondering how you establish the initial thread question.
So if you want to type a new message, you do that right here in this message box down here at the bottom. Okay. Right.
Yeah, I'm not making my question clear, Terry. If you're hovering over a particular subject, you said that there was an icon or something that you could hit and it would be a thread. So I'm looking for what that will.
It's this
Yeah,
guy
me
right here,
too.
this little speech bubble.
Okay, what does it look like?
It's a speech bubble.
Speech
And if you
bubble.
hover over it, it says reply to thread.
Great. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Cool.
It's a speech bubble.
Yeah. It's the idea of you're having a conversation is what I think it's supposed to be kind of signifying there. Okay. So that is like the crux of how conversations happen in Slack, in channels. Again, you can, if you want to get somebody's attention, you want to use that type that @ key, and then you can zap someone specifically. You can also type the hashtag and reference channels, or the pound symbol, right? So that may be advantageous, right? Matt might type something in here that's like, hey everyone, we have new updates in the Relabel channel, right? And then this becomes a link that you can click on and it takes you to the Relabel channel, right? Matt could even, if he wanted to, copy the link specifically for that channel, and he could actually go back into his message and edit it and then add the link.
It's one nice thing about Slack is that you can go back in and edit your messages or even delete them. So, which is unlike, texting or email.
Yeah, you can delete a message if you want to, if you've got spelling mistakes or you realize you weren't very clear, or you did it on swipe on your keyboard and it's just a bunch of gobbledygook. You can change it up if you want to.
Terry, I wanted to kind of step back and go over kind of the big picture of what we're doing with this.
I was
going
to kind of go through about how we wanted to use all the channels at the end. If that,
yeah,
is that okay? Or
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
If that's what you were talking about.
I wanted to talk about that, and just the general kind of building the team ethos and how each channels gets into that.
Yep. I was going to do that at the back half so that everyone kind of has the nuts and bolts down. And we're very close to being done here.
Okay.
Because the next piece is direct messages. So those are all down here in another column where you've got direct messages down here. And
check Peggy, because I think she's had trouble getting in. Yeah, I sent her the meeting ID. Shoot. Okay. Sorry, Terry. I'll send that to Peggy.
So anyway, direct messages. You can send private messages to people that no one else should be able to see unless you're sharing your screen with an entire Zoom full of other people, in which case they can see the private message communication that you're having. So, so that's what's happening here. All the same rules apply as in channels. I could have replied to Peggy in a thread if I'd wanted to for this, to give her that answer in the private message. I can, but again, you can save it, right? So maybe I save this here because I know that someone else is going to ask me this question and I'm going to want to go back and get that information real quick. But you can, the important thing here is that these are private. No one else can see these messages, right? These are not things that are happening publicly, right? So that's a good thing to have. As it says, this is conversation is just between the two of you. But you can share files, all the whole nine. Everything that you're doing in channels, you can do here. It's just only between two people.
So Terry, you're not able to send it like to two people. You can only send it to one person.
You can send it to two people, so here in direct messages, you can add one, and I'm pretty sure you can do Matt and Tony.
Okay.
And now I'm sending messages to both of you. And then that pops up as a Matt and Tony. So this is Matt, Tony, and Terry now can communicate in private messages here, right? And there, see Matt.
And I misspelled Terry's name, so I'm gonna go back and fix that. So, and it'll actually say edited. So
yeah, it'll tell me that he messed something up. And the other thing you can do with these that is really nice, I need to remember how to do it.
what are you trying to do?
Way to make these favorites, and
I don't know that.
And I've forgotten how to do it. There is a way to favorite these things, which is really nice because it moves them
not under more
to another spot. Oh, there we go. So this little star right here next to the name, if you click that, it creates a new section for starred items. So I've done on our department, I've done that for our field work channel. I've done it for conversations with Matt and private messages with Mary and with Chris, just because those are the people who I talk to all the time and am constantly communicating with. And so I want those to be easier to access, right? So I throw those up there at the top. And then you can, obviously unfavorite them as well if you want to.
Oh, you built me up, then you dropped me.
I know, sorry, nothing personal. So Slack also filters things in other ways if you want to. So if you want to see threads that you are participating in and just see all of them, they put those up in here. And anything that's underneath a red line is a new thing that's been added since you looked at it last time. So that's, and it will bump the most recent thread up to the top of this thread section. It also does it for DMs. It shows you all the DMs that you've, the most recent DMs that you've been in if you want to do that way. And then also every, this is just kind of real-time activity where you've been mentioned or keywords that you save. There's a way to save specific keywords if you want to follow keywords, and you can do that. And that's really kind of the basic gist. One last thing that I wanted to talk about is where is it? Notifications. So you can set a status if you want to, just like old AOL Instant Messenger style, right? Set a status for, are you in a meeting? Are you on vacation? And you can tell it, so if you're not working, but you still have Slack up. You know, you can leave different statuses. You can customize these, right? So you can say digitizing, right? And then everyone knows that you're here and you're active and you're doing stuff at this precise moment. And then you can also just automatically set yourself to not being here.
Go through that one more time, Terry, how you did that.
Yeah, so you click on your little profile up here in the upper right.
Yeah.
And click on here, and you can set your status.
Thanks.
Right, very tired. So, and you can give it a nice little emoji if you want to, right? So, and then you can clear it by hitting clear, and you can set your status to active. And that status kind of follows you around. So you can see over here, right in the DM column, I can see that Carissa's active. So I know that if I message Carissa right now, she's probably out of her computer and in front of things, so she'll probably be able to respond, right? Whereas, you know, Dean, for some reason, you know, Taylor, for example, not at her computer right now, which is good because she's not working. So that's kind of how that works. They've of course changed this. Hold on.
Terry, can I ask
Yeah.
a question?
Go ahead.
Does it know if you said she's not on her computer? That means she could be on her computer, but does not have Slack open. How will it know she's on computer, whether she's...
Sorry, it means she's not on Slack, or it means she's set her status to not active and has Slack open. Yes, no, it doesn't know if it's not like monitoring whether or not you're on your computer or not. It is simply, she is either told it by quitting the application or by setting her status to inactive. Yeah. Don't worry. I don't think it's too big brotherish. Not any more than everything else, at least.
But it could probably be misleading too, because if you look at my status like at 2 a.m, since I leave my computer on, I look like I'm on Slack.
Right.
I'm in bed asleep. So I'm just lazy about setting my status.
Okay, and they have changed something because I am not seeing how to customize notifications, which is like my most favorite thing about this. Let me look. So I may have to get back to you all on this, but one of the things you should be able to do, notifications. Okay, so, all right, we'll go back. So up on your person up here, if you go to preferences, you can set all kinds of things in here. You can choose how things are sorted. You can, make it be really bright. You can make it be really dark. There's just a lot of different ways you can make this look. One of the things that can happen with Slack is, since you're participating in so many different conversations, is you can get overrun with notifications, right? You'll just be ping, ping, like new person put a new thing in the Relabel, ping, 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 and it can be a little much. So you are able to say, I want to get a ping every time anyone puts a message anywhere in this workspace. That seems like a bit much to me, right? Is that only want to get a notification when someone's direct messaging me specifically or mentioning me specifically, or one of the keywords that I've listed, right? Or you can say, I never want to get a notification at all, which is also fine, right? I don't want to be bothered by this thing except when I open it up to use it. And then you could also say, I want to set up different settings for my mobile devices, right? So you may, when I'm sitting down at my computer, I may want to get bothered more than getting a notification all the time when I'm got my phone in my pocket and I'm out, like, none of us are out anywhere, but in the backyard or upstairs or whatever. So those are different options that you can do, right? So I tend to leave mine on direct messages, mentions, and keywords, just because that's I don't need to get a message every time somebody posts anything in Slack, right? That's not if someone needs to, if it's something that's important to me, they'll probably message me about it, right? So again, you can add keywords if you want. So, right. So maybe I put like Terry as a keyword in here because they may not mention me by using the @ feature, but I still want to know when people are talking about me, right? You can schedule when you want to be notified and when you don't, right? So if you don't want to get notifications after 8 o'clock, that's great. You can set that up. So there's just lots of, you can set what the sound is that happens. Lots of different options in here that are really great. But I would suggest, just looking through the preferences, but the notifications thing is nice just because it can relieve a little bit of your.
There's a lot of options in Slack, and it can be overwhelming until you just start to explore it. So don't feel like you're gonna, if you have something that you want to do, direct message Terry and he can help you out with it.
Yeah.
And if there's something, I don't think there's much you can do. If you do something and you redo your settings in the way that you don't like, let Terry know and he can help you out with that.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to show you notifications because I'm guessing that a lot of you are going to not have Slack open just all day, every day.
That was one of my
And
questions.
and that you've got specific times that you're going to want to be doing the digitizing and the relabeling. And that's when you'll want to have Slack open. And that is the only time you'll want to be getting notifications. And that's great. And there's a setting that allows you to do that, right? You can also, for certain channels, if you are just not interested in keeping it positive, you can mute that channel, right? Which just means you're not going to get any notifications about that channel at all.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah.
While you were talking, I went back in on mine and changed everything. So it'll save it just by making all the changes and then closing it out. Does it automatically save?
Yep.
Okay.
Should be good.
Thanks.
Okay. So that's the nuts and bolts of Slack. The more you use it, the more comfortable you will get with it. That's, we have, as Matt was sort of alluding to, or really hoping, is that this becomes an active space for you all, not only as a tool for, helping get questions answered about the projects that you're working on, but also as a tool for starting to, kind of build a bit of esprit de corps and a bit of community around this project. So each one of these channels has specific reasons for being. And Matt, do you want to talk more about this, or would you like me to?
Yeah, no, I could cover this. If you click on general, Terry,
Yep.
For that one, that's really a place like when you check in, like if you're starting to do some of the relabeling and you want to see what's been going on or who else is doing relabeling actively, you could look at the last set of messages and see who's there. And a lot of times what we'll do under general is we'll just put in, if you're working for an hour, just say, it's Peggy, I'm here for an hour. I'm going to be working on the two units that I need to do relabeling on, and Matt and Terry and Dean sent some information to me on. We're reserving a couple of these channels for some specific information. So if you go to Relabel, that one, I need to go in and clean up some of the messages that are in here. But this one is really trying to keep this one reserved for questions about relabeling that other people would find pertinent to what they're doing. So if you had something where you were trying to learn more about Slack, you wouldn't want to put it in Relabel. You might put that in general. You'd probably just message Terry directly on that one. But for Relabel, this is where I want to, if somebody asks a question about, say, you know, if you have two plan views that are in in your folder, and you ask what to do about that one, and I write a descriptive answer about that, I'll either put it in Relabel, or you might just want to start it in Relabel. And what I'll do is I'll probably curate this one depending on, you know, how things get answered. And so some of these conversations might end up going back to, you know, to a thread, or a discussion between the two of us. The other one, make it public. If you click on that one, Terry, that one would just be done.
Hey, Matt, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Instead of us trying, or instead of me trying to decide, is this a general or relabel? If I just sent you or Terry a direct communication, then you guys could probably in your response could figure out, okay, it needs to go under relabel, you know, because you want everybody to know the answer to the question. Because if I just send a direct one, it's not going to the relabel channel, it's just going directly to you, right? Or Terry.
Yeah, if you send it directly to us, it would go to us. And what you could do is, it's okay to put it in Relabel. And later on, if what we decide that it's too specific, we can always just move it to another location.
Right.
Yeah, I would if you have a question about relabeling, put it in the Relabel channel, because here's the other thing that's advantageous about that. If it's in the Relabel channel, that means Matt could answer it. It means Taylor could answer it. It means I could answer it. It could mean Dean could answer it. It could mean Carissa, like anyone could answer that question.
Okay.
And that helps kind of disperse the responsibility or the opportunity to a bunch of people. And then also everybody gets to see the answer. If you just want to be like, hey, everyone, I just had so much fun relabeling. This is the best. I love you guys. Like, that's for general, or for keep it positive. Like, that's just, you know, or you're checking in like, hey, everyone, it's Terry. I'm going to be working on this folder today. That's, you know.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that, Terry. The nice thing about Relabel, and part of, you know, a big part of having everyone communicating in Slack is so that, if Tony, if you had a question about relabeling and you put it into Relabel, you know, Dean might see that and be able to answer that question. And it would be, you know, if it was 8 o'clock at night, you'd be ready to go. And so it's designed to have the, you know, have a community there that people can help each other out with. And one thing I did want you all to know, Dean is going to be going through and looking through some of the problem folders and seeing what he can answer, because Dean's been doing this for about a year and is seeing a lot of the issues that come up. But yeah, the idea behind it is just like what Terry was saying, is to be able to have you all help each other out and build a community around this process. Because one part of this project is, you know, obviously getting all these files relabeled, but it's also to build a community of users, and also looking towards how to make this into another part of the expedition process, like we were talking about last week. So another channel that's there is which we're on right now, is make it public. This is something that we really want to focus on for the project. This is, if you all are in doing the relabeling and looking through all of the unit records, if there's something that you all feel would be interesting, like as a post or something that, because part of the IMLS grant is to make these records public and find things that are interesting that the public would be interested in, is we really want to crowdsource some of the interpretation that we're doing. So if you all are doing a unit and all of a sudden there's a, you know, in this one particular unit, the sequence of excavation was so interesting that you think it would make a really neat, you know, either a mini blog post or something on social media. That's what the Make It Public is for. This is something that's interesting enough to put it on the put it out on social media. If you're doing the record entries and you happen to read a strata card and somebody, you know, in 2006 writes, you know, it's 95 degrees out, I can't see past the sweat on my face, and or just something just hilarious, that's something you probably would want to put in keep in positive, because obviously, you know, kind of a cute remark like that might not make it into Make It Public. So
although, to be fair, Matt, we did just post a strat card where someone was talking about, you know, not wanting to get hit on the top of their noggin.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
I think something
From the
you know, so
Yeah,
yeah, no, it can.
saw that.
if there's something that you think people outside of this group would be really interested in seeing, or even mildly interested in seeing, put it in put it in Make It Public, and tell us why. That I think that's the other thing, is like, you know, Dean typing, you know, a picture that's really neat about a post hole or some photo or something, and just saying, you know, I thought this picture was really interesting because it shows all these different layers and the burnt, you know, ash at the bottom of this post. And then what we'll do is we'll take that, we'll put it on social media, and we'll say, you know, this was an image taken from excavations in 2004 of the post hole found by, you know, Dean, who's been working on the relabeling, and he thought it was really interesting because what Dean said, right? And that not only is going to get information out to the public, showing them about the work that we did in 2003, it's going to also show them the work that you all are doing, and your engagement in the process. And people love it. The Facebook page, again, that post of that strat card has 20 plus comments on it, all from archaeologists who worked on that project, right? So, you know, there is a community out there of people who want to see this stuff. That's kind of the reason why we're doing the whole thing in the first place, right? Is to make all this stuff publicly accessible. So we want to make the process that way too. So we're hoping this will be really fun.
Yeah, so you all are going to help us. This is a huge help in curating all this material, because like a lot of the cards and photos, you all are going through them. It's the first time they've been looked at probably since, you know, the report was written by Adam in 2008. And after you all look through them, it's the chance to make some of these little gems, you know, shine. So yeah, in Joe, like Tara is saying, for a lot of this, if don't feel hesitant to put any of your questions or comments in, you know, any of these channels. When you put them there, it's gonna make it so that we can see them, and then you know, pull it out of kind of the dustbin of the archive, which is great.
The last channel is the Keep It Positive one. This is, we have one called Choose Positivity on our group page. This is just one of our departmental values, and this is just for fun stuff. Like, hey, look at this cute picture of my grandkids, you know, or like, hey, this fun thing happened to me the other day. This is the water cooler stuff. This is the, like, here's a funny cartoon about archaeology. You know, I'm going to post that here. This is for that kind of fun stuff for you all to kind of build that other, right? Doing the work is part of building a community, right? But having fun together is the other part of it. And that's kind of what this channel is for, so that you all can get to know each other a little bit beyond, you know, Tony's the guy who asks all the questions or whatever. So have fun with this one. Obviously, you know, like, you know, keep it clean and all of that. but this is a spot to have fun and find a little joy in a lot of this work and help build more of that community that's enjoyable and makes this project multidimensional. So Tony, when you go out metal detecting and you find something really, really cool and you volunteered here, like throw it up on the Choose Positivity tag here with people. So, you know, that would be great. We'd all love, I'm sure everyone would love to see what you are finding. And, you know, things like that. Or when you all come on an expedition, you know, like throw things into this chat for your colleagues, because you're all colleagues now, right? To see, because you're all coworkers on this project. So
Does this allow you to attach pictures to the comment?
You just drag them. You can either click the attach button here and you can search for it, or you can just drag a picture right onto it, right onto the thing. So
May I ask a question? Since
please do.
it took me so long to get on tonight. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm here. So I sort of missed the beginning. The implication I'm getting is every time we sit down to work on the project, we should log into Slack. Just make that an automatic thing, or does it automatically come up when I get into the Relabel project? I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, so you would, and we actually didn't kind of talk about this, about like what the workflow should be.
Okay.
I personally, I think that what you should do is when you sit down to do your relabeling, you should open up Slack. And the first thing you should do is you should go into the general tab and you should type like, hey, it's Terry. Today I'm gonna be working on the folders for MT 3000 and 3001.
Oh, okay.
Hooray, right? Type
Oh,
that.
all right.
Boom. Okay, then go to Relabel, and when you log in for the first time, it will tell you that there have been in this channel. So this channel will actually, the words will be bold. Okay, there'll be and that means that since the last time you went into this channel, there's been more messages added to that channel. So you want to go in here, and what I would suggest that you all do is scroll up until you see a red line, and that red line is going to tell you that this is the last, like everything above here you've seen, everything below is new. And I'd suggest reading through it, because there may be updates that Matt's put in, questions that people have asked that have been answered that you may have too, or you may run into while you're doing digitizing, and now you already know what the answer is. And I would just cruise through this, read it real quick, and then you're up to speed. You know everything that's happened since the last time you sat down to do your relabeling and digitizing. See, there it is. There's that red line, right? So I haven't read that, and it tells me that it's new. Right? Or someone may have asked a question and you may know the answer to it, right? So you may be able to jump in and help, right? By right. So, and you may be able to participate and help somebody else out.
So sign in under general and then go right into Relabel.
Yep. Go right into Relabel. Exactly.
Okay.
And then while you're doing your digitizing, maybe a question comes up. So you come back into Relabel and you ask your question, right? And you can even do things like maybe there's something about the picture that you don't know what to do. So you could drag that picture in and be like, what is this? I can't read this label. I don't know what this, you know, or whatever, right? And you can and that helps whoever's answering the question actually look at that image and help you out with it. And then also you can click back and forth, and maybe there's something that you want to make public, right? And you know, you can review some of these channels too, see what your colleagues have been up to, look at cool pictures, do that business as well. But that would be, and then I would also suggest that when you're leaving is go back to general, find your comment that you made when you signed in and just say like, ended up getting 3002 done also. So much fun. Right. See you next week. Right. This will be useful for us also because now Matt can look and see who did 3000, 3001, and 3002. Right. He could do a quick search for 3000 because he noticed that 3000, like something went wrong, right? Like everything's wrong or there's mistakes. And now he knows that he needs to come yell at Terry about it because he clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Right. But that's super helpful, right? This is a tool that Matt's going to be able to use to see who's been working on different things or, you know, who's logging in, all that stuff. So that would be my suggested workflow. Matt, does that fit?
Yeah, I like that a lot. This helps a lot, Terry. Especially with with what to put into Relabel and you know, each of these. I think as we go, we can learn, and what we can do is we can, you know, help you all out as you all work on this. So if I start come in here and I put answers to questions under general, Terry can be like, Matt, that needs to go under, you know, relabels. So
yeah.
we can help each other out on that.
Yeah. And just so you all know, this is precisely what we do in our Slack. Every day, each one of our staff members logs into general and they say, this is what I did yesterday. This is what I'm working on today. Every single day for right. So it's a process that we use, and it's a great way to just check in, say hi to everyone, tell everyone what you're up to, you know, and I know I go in every morning and I read what everyone else is doing, so I know what my team's up to, and you know, I respond to it or whatever. So it's a really nice.
It's literally made for teams where the members are scattered or not in one location. So like we are right now, like, you know, the archaeology department with COVID, everybody's working from home, but it's amazing for you all and for all of us that are scattered across the country to be in one place and be able to have, you know, a focused set of activities that go towards this project. And what Terry envisioned this for, which I really like, is this, you know, while right now all of y'all are working on, we're all working on the Relabel project, this is going to be the space for, you know, all volunteers who are doing work. So like Terry's point about Tony putting in, you know, information on what he's finding with the metal detecting, might even want to do a metal detecting channel for that, so you all can see if Tony has some cool finds, it would be right there under metal detecting. And as we get more metal detectors helping out, they might want to join this and be part of it. So, and that's where like the digitize, this one is, I can't click on that. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah. The digitize that's a project that Dean and Kathy are working on, which is, and I talked about that a little bit 2 weeks ago, which is once we get all the files relabeled, the next thing I'm going to have you all start working on is actually digitizing and transcribing the strata cards into GIS. So hopefully, you know, in the next month, as the front yard gets done, you all will have a lot more experience in dealing with the records, and you'll be able to, you know, go to the next step, which would be to put this stuff into GIS. And that's when the digitized channel will become a lot more active. So as we get projects going on, like might be that Mary has a whole bunch of artifact sheets that need to be entered. We could have, you know, artifact data entry channel. So this will grow as the projects grow.
Yep. And so that means that, you know, like don't run in and join the digitized channel, because if you're not if you're not working on that project, right, that'll just be for the people who are working on that project. But you know, as it grows, things like keep it positive and make it public and in general, right, those will be ones that everyone will be a part of, and will grow.
And you can,
Carissa has raised her hand.
I love all the icons.
Lovely. I love it. Yes, Carissa.
I do work with school children.
No.
So when we talk about the notifications, just going back a little bit,
Yeah.
does notification also mean email notification? Or do you have managed the email notification separate from like the pings and bloops you might get on your phone?
I don't think you're going to get email notifications. This is stuff on the phone or things popping up on your.
Okay, because I've been getting emails when I do get some emails coming through recently. Yeah.
Okay, well then it would probably be taking care of that too. When I set this up 2 years ago, the notifications looked a lot different. So I will admit that I was surprised to not see the little notification bell next to every channel. So they've probably simplified, but for me, complicated.
Okay, so it's probably while
everything.
browsing through all the notification pieces just to see if it means email. I mean, I can go and look later, but okay.
Yeah, I'd probably suggest going to that, hitting that button.
Okay.
And looking through there, and I will do that too, and try to figure that out.
Okay, yeah, I'll browse through that. I just wasn't sure if you knew offhand, so thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm.
Carissa, one thing you can do is just do a Google search on Slack email notifications, and there'll be somebody that out there in the interwebs who's figured it out.
True.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure it's out there. So.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've brought up something. Now I'm confused, but where would you get email notifications through Slack? Because there are no emails that go through Slack.
This would be if someone messaged you in Slack, you might get an email saying,
Oh, okay.
Matt
Okay,
messaged you. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, yes, I got you. I understand what you mean now.
Yep.
Because yes, I've been getting emails all this time we've been talking. As more people have been adding, I've been getting things in my email saying with updated information. So.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's not good.
And
I
like
would
every
actually,
time,
I would look at those emails and see if there's anywhere in there that's like, do you want to turn these emails off?
Yeah, Terry, if you could look at that and then put that in general, that would be.
I will look this up when we are done,
because I don't think anybody wants emails from Slack. So
one
So
of the
for
whole
example-
like points of Slack is to not have to deal with.
Yeah. For example, every time since so many people have been joining the channel, every time somebody joined the channel, I got an email.
Okay.
I was getting those as well, but when Terry walked us through the preferences, I changed all that and I stopped getting the emails.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to go under that, under your profile and under preferences.
Preferences, notifications.
Okay.
Yeah, I was getting them too, and I think I
Yeah,
I turned
getting them all day.
notifications. I think
Yeah.
I turned them off completely. So
Yeah.
I'm not getting them anymore on email.
Mhm.
So again, I would suggest honestly putting them on nothing. You don't want notifications because you're really only when you're going to be logging in. Nothing or only when you get a message.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody needs to know everything that's going on in Slack. That's too much. When we adopted Slack from the very, very beginning, that was everybody's main concern was like, how am I just going to get inundated with notifications for everything? So, because again, like you look at our channel, we've got
Lots of stuff.
lots of channels, right? We've got lots of little projects going on. There's probably more of them that other people have started, and some of these that are defunct. But yeah, lots of there can be a lot of conversation going on that you don't need to be a part of, so or don't want to be a part of.
Hey, is Dennis on this one? Is Dennis on Slack?
We did not put Dennis on, and Matt, through this conversation, it's making me think that we should.
Yeah, and another reason I was asking, I'm not trying to add more work to him, but I was just wondering, I said, this might be a neat way for me to, communicate with him instead of just by text or something.
Mm,
But don't tell
Is
him
Matt
that
still
I.
here?
I'm back.
Okay, there you are. But yeah, no, got it. I'm from the Midwest. He is not on it. Any other questions? Does this make sense? Does this seem terribly daunting, or does this seem super easy?
easy.
Great.
Just have to
I like
start
that.
using it.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, it's going to be fine.
I think it'll be fun. We have a good time. We have a good time on Slack.
Mhm.
So it's been a really nice way for us to stay connected. So
I'm a pretty basic user and I really enjoy it. So you don't have to get into all, I mean, definitely the notifications, you want to make sure you're not getting emails, but I think when you learn the channels, you pretty quickly understand where information is. So.
and how the channels can become really useful. So for example, Matt and I are starting work on a book chapter or a journal article. Super early stages, and we've been fleshing a lot of it out just in direct messages.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks ago, I started a channel for it that's just the two of us on that channel, but it means that all of our conversation about that topic is now in its own place. And so I don't have to go dig through, months of DMs with Matt about how are we budgeting things and how am I coding people's time and their timesheets, right? I can just go to the channel about that research topic and it's all in that spot. So it's really, really helpful and useful for a lot of us.
So under the Make It Public channel, are you saying that once we put something on there, it's automatically available to the public social media?
No.
Okay.
No,
That's good.
that's just your way to alert us that this is something that you should put on
Okay.
social media.
Because if I was to put something, what I think is a significant find down at the blacksmith shop, if I'm detecting, and you guys are saying, no, we don't want that to make it public. So I just want to make sure I wasn't.
Yeah. Yes, it still has to go through one of us before it goes up on the internet.
Yeah.
Or a public internet. Yeah.
This is cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anything else to share. Do you all have any more questions?
Thank you. This was very useful.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, Terry.
Yeah. And again, Matt recorded it, so we'll just put that in, put the recording, we can put it in the general tab and pin it. And then for people who didn't see it, or if you feel like you need to reference something, you can go back and.
How about posting a picture of your twins?
That would be in Keep It Positive. So
I can do that.
They're on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
I watch them on Instagram.
I'm not on Instagram.
I'm sure I've got something.
I bet you've got some.
Oh, yeah.
They're adorable.
We've been doing a lot of Lego play lately because I gave them all my old Legos. So that is fun. That's been the big activity. Anyway, you guys want a picture of kids? So
This is the
the least I can do.
So
Looks like you got some of their artwork behind you.
Oh yeah. It's as I was telling Patricia earlier, it's a revolving gallery. So new contributions. This is their attempt at a hug, but I just posted.
Oh,
So anyway.
cute.
All right. Well, I'm good. You all are good.
Yep.
Yep.
Enjoy
good
the
seeing
rest of your
everybody.
wild Thursday nights.
Yeah.
So.
Build the gap.
All right, y'all.
All right, good
Great.
night,
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Good to see you all.
Bye-bye.
okay.
Bye.
Everybody have a good
Thanks a
evening.
lot.
You too.